Good morning and welcome to Ray's Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying this beautiful Tuesday morning. On this platform, we are dedicated to amplifying the vibrant voices of the youth towards matter that concerns us all. And you know that if it's of great importance, we're definitely talking about it. It's my absolute pleasure to anchor today's segment. My name is Oluchi Precious Omenka, and I've been joined by the Lady Vibe herself. Good morning, God's Beauty.
Good morning, Oluchi. How are you? What's this excitement?
I'm feeling jiggy this morning. I don't
like
know.
that.
I woke up on the right side of the bed like this saying. So how are you feeling this morning?
Beautiful as usual.
As usual.
Nothing extra, nothing too much.
Really? Nothing happening in your space? Give us just about all the things you have been learning so far, because you are a, how do I put it now? A bundle of knowledge. You like to go after knowledge. I love that. So
I don't know what she's talking about.
How has it been like having to upskill and get to learn many things?
Honestly, it's beautiful. The journey is beautiful. It's a lot, right? Of course, it has its ups and downs, but there are times where you have to read. There are times where you have to make research. There's so many things involved, assignment upon assignment upon assignment. But I really love the journey because, again, there's that, the fact that, I used to think that I was so good, not until like having to, take this course, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot to learn. Even though the teacher himself will tell me, Gospity, you're good. You're great. You're a great writer. So there's no need for the whole extra and the whole having to, go back and forth on anything. You're good. So just keep the calm. You get? But most of the times I'm like, nah, I've not seen this before. Do you understand? This is new. So let's do it. And I think there's this excitement that comes with, having to learn new things, especially when you're, in a group of people that are also ready to learn. You guys are sharing knowledge. We're already thinking of, okay, what film are we bringing out right now?
True.
It's beautiful. So yeah, the journey is a lot. Because of course the assignments, they are not fun. One thing with the assignments, yeah, you have to do everything.
Somewhere where somebody said, "I miss that rush of having to prepare for exams and everything."
I don't miss it though. Let's not lie. I don't miss it at all.
The sleepless nights.
Do you understand? Where you have to
the pressure, the anxiety. Well, eventually you miss it when you see a lot of calm in your life. You're like, oh, I want that rush again. So at this point, I'm wondering if I'm missing it. I just left, so let me not miss it too quickly.
I don't think
because
I
it's still
am,
ahead of me.
For every time, there's always that rush, whether be it work, be it whatever. For me, I've always had that, mindset to always want to learn, and also for me, there's always that rush. But you see that mindset of having to wake up, or that, atmosphere where you have to wake up in the middle of the night to read for some hours. No, I'm not sure I'm ready for that.
So stressful. I think my own reading style in school wasn't really night.
Why wasn't the night?
It had to be day.
No, I don't know how to do that.
I had a mix of it, day, a little bit of night. But you see those ones that will burn candles 6 hours at night?
Yes.
I cannot. No. I will doze off because I am meant to sleep.
That's my younger sister.
I'm meant to sleep at night.
She prefer to either, read in the morning, everywhere. Everybody's doing that whole rushing. You're going work. She's just sitting down reading. But for me, it's that night where everywhere is calm. Everybody's sleeping. I'm just waking up by 1, and I'm doing all the reading down to 5 or 6, and probably go to bed for 30 minutes or so. And yeah, for me, because everything I've read, trust me, if you ask me one, I'm telling you the whole chapter. So that's how it works for me.
Interesting. Anyways, we're back here again on your screens with the most amazing of conversations. Yesterday, we started unpacking the controversies behind VeryDarkMan's arrest, and it was a full time here with our viewers having to drop a lot of comments. Today, we are still unpacking it because there are new updates to it. And of course, our segment today, we have a legal expert to join us to give, proper legal framework to the whole conversation. And I'm promising you that this is going to be a very exciting one. So we'll take this short break, and when we come back, we're going straight to the headlines across the globe. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thank you for sticking with us. Of course, right now we want to start the newspaper headline reviews, but this is just another call to action for you guys. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please head on now to the official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button, like, share the link, and tune in to channel 145 on your Go TV. And to contribute to today's conversation again, you can reach us via 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Yes, so we're starting straight up with the stories for today. We have the Punch newspaper, the Tribune newspaper, and of course the international papers. So let's have God's Beauty lead us firstly.
All right, straight into the Guardian newspaper. By the top left, we have Blake Lively, how Hollywood actor became a lightning rod for the United States right. Top center, the real deal, Liverpool's strength, Alexandra Arnold set for Madrid. Main front page headline, we have there number 10, to rethink fuel payment costs as local election losses alarm MPS. Then third column headlines, we have British film industry at risk from United States tariff. Then bottom left, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has cancer charity to ask advice service. So let's, I'll be talking on two headlines, right? The first one is the main headline, which is number 10, to rethink fuel payment cuts as local election losses alarm MPS. So the UK government is reconsidering its plan to cut winter fuel payments for pensioners. This policy, originally introduced as a cost-saving measure, is now under review following the Conservative Party's significant loss in local elections. Now, why this matter? We have the winter fuel payment, a vital lifeline for many elderly citizens, helping them avoid heat during cold months. Cutting this allowance could worsen financial hardship for vulnerable population, especially during an ongoing cost of living crisis. Politically, the backlash from this policy may have contributed to the party's poor performance at the polls. So let's start from, I think, May 2nd in the UK, they had their local election for local councillors, right? Now, at the end of the day, they saw that the Conservative, who has always been the one ruling at some point, lost at that time. And, there were questions around what exactly happened. And then it took us back to one of the policies that they made at that time, right, which was the fact that they wanted for them to be able to reduce government expenditure, or they felt like, okay, for them to be able to reduce that or help the government with their spending, they should take out certain amounts that are allocated to pensioners. That's on the winter fuel payment, right? But of course, the elderly people did not see that as anything funny, because that's what they used to survive. That's the amount that they used to survive, right? So right now, what the Conservative Party is doing, they're trying to reconsider the goal they want to achieve is to ensure that the government expenditure is reduced. You get by certain percent. So they're looking for what exactly or what sector should they take out the amount from. So when they thought about this winter fuel payment, I'm very sure they probably did not even speak to the people in question, right? And that's why, of course, when it got to that time of election, nobody really voted the Conservative Party's candidate, because they felt like if you vote them in now, they are definitely going to, bring in this policy to play, and we don't want that. So that's why I think the Liberal Party and other party got the seats, why the Conservative Party lost in that sense. So I just hope now that they said they are reconsidering it, I hope that they reconsider and they try to find a balance. Because, one of the problems, I think even here in Nigeria, is the fact that, one, you bring out policies and you don't even bring it to the people that these policies will be affected, upon. So you're supposed to ask them first, what do you think about these things? I'm not saying you should, solely depend on the people for them to, make out certain laws. But, of course, you'd also need their 2 cents on the matter. Because right now, you see, of course, they don't like it. And that's one of the problems why they did not even, support or even go to vote for the party. Now, speaking on the whole, I was speaking to the audience. I love this particular case so much. This one says, British film industry at risk from United States tariff. So let me quickly read out the details. And we have here, the British film and television industry is facing a serious threat due to proposed United States tariff on UK film and TV exports. These tariffs are part of a broader trade dispute triggered by the UK government's decision to impose a digital services tax targeting United States tech giants like Amazon, Apple, and Netflix. Now, the United States is a major market for UK film. You already know that, right? And TV content. If this tariff are enacted, British production could become significantly more expensive for United States companies to acquire or distribute, potentially reducing the global reach and profitability of British content. The industry contributes billions to the UK economy and supports tens of thousands of jobs, many of which are now under threat. Now, this is coming back to the trade war that we have been speaking about. And that's why I said, assuming, I mean, this is me going to be repeating myself over and over. Imagine, what's his name, Trump, you know, from the initiative that he had from Initials, assuming he had that conversation with the people in general, I don't think we'll get to this point that we are in. Because you see now that, I mean, the UK, of course they are, you know, panicking because this is going to be affecting their film and TV content. It's just going to mean that whatever budgets that they use in, you know, putting into film is just going to add up. And you know how we used to always say that, oh, their films are always beautiful and all of that. So now that, you know, if United States now put in, because now it's just a threat. So what if they not implement it? It's just going to be that there will be probably low quality of all the movies and films that we watch, or there need to be ×2 of whatever that they use to, you know, produce the film. So of course it's not a good news in any way. So I just hope that they come to a truce, because of course this trade war is not looking funny. Just the other day we were talking about the fact that they might, I mean, come together, and right now it looks like, you know, they are still apart. Of course this is, you know, triggering from the whole result of Trump's tariff imposed and all of that. But I just hope that, like I said, they come to a truce and, you know, they make amends. Yeah. Tell me.
People are at loggerheads, and your conclusion is let them come to a truce, let them come to a balance. But we know how difficult that can be when politics is in place. So
that's the problem.
We should be waiting for the lesser evil or something manageable, I guess. Let me take you through the Nigerian papers. We have The Punch, and the Tribune has very interesting stories. The Punch on insecurity here has that the reps and Benue governors clash as NAS resumes today. Lawmakers blame Aliyah for killings. State Assembly members meet over reps' invitation. Concerns as over 1.5 million UTME candidates score below 200. 8,000 terrorist bandits killed under Tinubu, says Defense Minister. Makinde moves 5 commissioners in fresh cabinet shakeup. And above the major headline, we see major petrol, diesel price cuts expected over crude slump. Revenue collection inefficiencies cost power firms 965 billion naira. Student loan, minister meets VCs as NANS blocks Lagos-Ibadan highway. Federal government approves 1.8 trillion naira road project and new contract. There are a lot of stories here that I want to talk about, from the follow-up of NAS, what's the word now? You know, these guys had a lineup of things that they wanted to, you know, see come to pass. And I guess, you know, they're resuming those discussions again today. And then last week we spoke about the student loan stuff and the embezzlement that happens in-house. So now it seems as though NANS, that's the National Association of Nigerian Students, are taking up the mantle to riot, to protest, and, you know, to demand justice, you know, as regards their affairs. But the story that really, really catches my attention has to be the one still on education. It says here, concerns as over 1.5 million UTME candidates score below 200. I first saw this particular update on your favorite online doctor Twitter page or so. I didn't even read it fully because I'm like, bad news again, please. I will see it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But seeing it here again, it reminds me that there's a whole lot of one missing in that sector. Let me give you the full story. It says JAM, let me use JAM, on Monday released the result of 2025 UTME, raising concerns about maths failure as more than 1.5 million out of 1.9 million candidates whose results were released scored below 200. And we know how, you know, UTME is graded over 400. So the breakdown showed that 983,187 candidates, that's 50%, scored between 160 and 199. While 24%, let me spare you the numbers, scored between 140 and 159. And additionally, 57,000 candidates, that's 2%, scored between 120 and 139. This is a very major decline. Because I know when I wrote JAMB, and Of course, the 300s and the over 300s were not the very popular score at that time. But it seemed as though when I was in 300 level, we saw people hitting. I mean, we've heard of certain students that were, spotlighted because they had incredible scores. I mean, there was one Deeper Life student or so in a Deeper Life school like that was, called out because she had maybe 350, something very amazing. So I'm like, wow, JAMB is already doing well to be giving people 300 plus. We had to struggle with the 280s and 270, maybe a little over 300. But seeing this one that people did not score like a large number, didn't even get up to 200, that is ridiculous. But that means we're going to see a lot of people not getting into institution, except if these institutions now want to bring down their guard and their criteria to allow more people enter. Because normally, if you don't have up to 200, there's no reasonable cost in that sense. There's no, let me use high-valued cost. I'm not trying to bring any cost down, but just trust me, you're not going near medicine and surgery, you're not going near the law, you're not going near the banking and finance, and it's quite surprising. It's a very sad one. The question will not be who is to be blamed, the sector,
what exactly
the student, what exactly happened. And there are a lot of criticisms about the JAMB exam structure this year.
Right.
The first one was the timing. People had to complain that why would you have students coming as early as 6 a.m., 6:30 from far and wide. You know how JAMB can be. They can post you somewhere else. I don't want to say that's the reason why people failed, but there are a lot of underground questions to ask. And this is a slap to us. It's a sad one. And I hope we get over this very quickly. Let me take you through the Tribune, and then we wrap up this segment because our guest is ready for our conversation today. The major headline reads, FEC OK's Nigeria First economic policy to prioritize local industry, bans unjustified import, executive order coming to back up initiative. Tony Elumelu bags Gabon's highest national award. Naira depreciates as crude oil price falls between $60, Benue Assembly will study debate reps' invitation letter today. It still has stories on the UTME result analysis. I'll skip that and then just take the last two stories here. Wike Fubara field, tax reform bills, constitution review, insecurity top the agenda as NAS reconvenes today. Farmers in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun lament dearth of skilled labor and cost of input. Yeah, that's all the story that we have this morning. There's this particular story that is not on the major headline, but it was making waves yesterday, and that's about a Babcock student. I don't know if you saw that story. That was, I mean, it's been alleged that he's been missing, and the mother came online. Social media is just your first tool of action. So she came online to say that maybe the school themselves had fault because maybe they didn't do their whole processing and protocols well, and that's why the guy could just leave without the authorities knowing where he went to. And this morning, I just recently saw that Babcock had released their own comment on the story to say that don't put this blame on us, our dear mother. We're very sorry for whatever you're going through right now, but some of these students have a way they can bypass these authorities, no matter how strict it is. And I didn't go to a private university, but I had friends who went, and I know the stories they say about how strict, the things are. But let's not even look for fault and blames. There's someone who is missing, firstly, before we start thinking of who to blame, because we have a blame culture in our society. Let's just see that this person comes back and safe. All right, I'll take a deep breath now. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we are still unpacking the controversy surrounding VeryDarkMan's arrest, and we have a legal expert to join us to have this conversation. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back, people. Thank you so much for sticking with us. On Monday, yesterday, we began unpacking the ongoing controversies surrounding the arrest of social media activist and commentator VeryDarkMan. His bold, often confrontational content has sparked reactions across Nigeria's digital space, especially regarding his criticisms of celebrities, influencers, and social issues. Now, recent developments suggest his arrest may be tied to allegations of defamation and cyberbullying, which raises wider questions about freedom of expression, digital responsibility, and the law in Nigeria. Today, we're joined by legal expert Barrister Justice Unuegbu to shed light on the legal frameworks involved in such arrests. Are they justified, or do they signal a growing intolerance for dissent? And as the story continues to trend online, this conversation goes beyond one man. It calls into question how Nigerian law interacts with digital speech, online activism, and public influence. Good morning, Dr. Justice, Barrister Justice, pardon me.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely well. We're very happy to have you join our conversation. Yesterday, the ladies had their different standpoints to this, but today we want to have a legal standpoint to this conversation. So from a legal standpoint, what laws could be invoked in the arrest of someone like VeryDarkMan, particularly regarding his content online?
Well, the truth is that there are laws, actually. For example, there is what we call criminal libel, one. And secondly, there is all defamation of character. But for me, these laws actually are meant to checkmate individuals or people in order not to exceed their bounds or their boundary. Because one thing is certain, in as much as you have your fundamental human rights, but there are curtailments to your fundamental human rights. That is to tell you that nothing is expected to go to the extreme. But for me, also, I always see it that if anybody feels his character has been impeached or whatever, for me, the best thing to do is for you to file a suit against that person in the law court, which is a civil suit. But one thing is also certain, that truth is a defense in such suits. Truth is a defense.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Justice. So since we are on the VDM issue, right, I want us to talk a bit about the reports we heard or we read about the GT Bank having to, hold, what's his name, VeryDarkMan, in order for the AFCC to arrest him. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. I mean, we saw the arrest in front of the bank. So yeah. So I just want us to talk a bit about private sector having to be accountable, right? Because on social media you can see there's so many people saying, we'll stop using ChatGPT, we'll stop using GT Bank. I mean, there are many people saying, it's against the law and all of that. So I like the fact that you're here. So let's have that. Let's know what exactly the stance are. Is it okay for a private sector to be working with with a government organization in order for them to aid an arrest or something? Or, the fact that, the GT Bank had to even say, okay, let's do it, right? Is it something that, what if they say, okay, we cannot do it? I want us to know what the law stands in all of these things.
The truth is that, just like you rightly said, we all had that story or that allegation from GT, that GT masterminded his arrest. But if that actually happened, it will be an aberration. Because first of all, GT is an entity, is a company, let's put it like that, in as much as the company as it is, because provided it is registered with CSC, the company as it is has a legal backing to it. But the best GTB is supposed to do is to file a civil suit against him and not to arrest him. Because the law of defamation, criminal libel, talks about a person. Talk about a person. When you have, the person can be accused, for having criminally libeled somebody, a person. But now that we are talking about an entity, a company, what the best DTV would have done is to go to court and file a civil suit against him and prove their case in court and ask for damages.
This is a very amazing angle that you're bringing here, and it's not something we thought of, maybe because we're not in the legal space. But people have had a lot of comments as regards regulating online speech. This whole cyberbullying thing, different authorities, the EFCC, the Nigerian police force, it seems as though they have a duty to regulate online speech. I want to really ask, and I'm sure the viewer wants to know as well, what role does the Nigerian police force, any authority basically, what role do they play in regulating online speech, and how do they have the legal capacity or training to interpret digital content correctly, or it's just based on bias? So how wants to know as well, what role does the Nigerian police force, any authority basically, what role do they play in?
The duty of the police is to simplicity and in the police and the order and the for protection of life and their property. Simple as that. If there is any allegation that a crime has been committed or likely to be committed or about to be committed, yes, police can come in. There's what we call reasonable suspicion provided by the police act, the police act. Then once the police arrest somebody who they have or whom they have reasonably suspected to have committed a crime or about to commit a crime, the best you do is to arrest the person or invite the person, then do your investigation and go to court. It is the court that will interpret, or the court that will say whether a person has actually committed the crime or not. And it's not for the police. That is the problem we're having in Nigeria today. The police will play the role of the arbiter, play the role of the adjudicator, play the role of the, I don't know. It is very, very wrong and unknown to law. That is the problem we're having in Nigeria today. The police will play the role of the arbiter, play the role of the adjudicator, play the role of the...
Thank you so much, Barrister Justice. So I want us to, report has it, right, that VDM was arrested for cyber stalking. So yesterday we had a lot of people go out to protest in Abuja, right, in order for the EFCC to free VeryDarkMan. So I want to know, the fact that they went out to protest, is it going to influence the case, right, between VDM and EFCC, if eventually it is taken to court?
Well, the truth is that, for me, I don't think it will influence anything. But let us also understand one thing, that it is the right of the citizens to always protest, especially a peaceful protest at that. Now, what the EFCC will not say, well, they have not done bad for any reason. But the problem we have in Nigeria is this. Most times, most of the security agencies play the role of vendetta. That is just the problem. If you feel you're having problem with anybody, you use the police or use the EFCC or use the anti-graft agencies and all the rest. There's nothing wrong in EFCC inviting him for questioning. Then after inviting him for questioning, let him go. If you feel there are substance in the allegation, press a charge against him. That is just the thing. You see, the only problem we have here, our security agents believe that one of the ways to deal with somebody here is to detain that person and keep on leaving that person in detention. It has not solved any problem, and it cannot solve any problem for us. We must do the needful. We must be civilized, and we must follow other trends, what is happening in the world outside here. So the issue of arresting somebody, keeping that person, yes, you may call somebody, arrest somebody, invite somebody for an interrogation, then after it, allow the person to go. He's not running away. If you find substance, like I said, in the allegation or whatever, press a charge against him. After all, it's available offense.
This unpacking is becoming even more intense than we had, yesterday. Yeah. So looking at everything that you have put forth for us now, I'm trying to be in the place of very dark man, not literally, but what are the legal rights of individuals like this when they've been arrested eventually? Because the case now is not like they are planning to. He has already been arrested. He's already detained without having to go to court to whether know if he's guilty or not. So if this arrest has been perceived as being politically or socially motivated, what are his legal rights in this instance?
Well, whether it's politically motivated or not, the issue is that, like I said earlier, it's a available offense. EFCC cannot keep him there forever. And by our law, what the law says, within 24 hours, charge the person to court, provided it's a available offense. So I don't know what they are keeping him for, as far as I'm concerned.
Take this short break now. When we come back, we want to open up another side of this conversation, especially in talking about social media commentary in today's world and in the Nigerian context. We still have our barrister here to open up this conversation much more. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for sticking with us. Today's conversation is part 2 of what we started on Monday, unpacking the controversies surrounding VeryDarkMan's arrest. And we have a legal expert to join us. Today's conversation is actually to open up the legal framework to this, because many people seem to be of the position that the authorities probably went, behind the books in conducting this arrest. But of course, a legal framework will help us, with these complexities. Now, back to our conversation. Barrister Justice, do I still have you here with us, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right. So in today's world, let me use that word very loosely, we see that social media has become that tool, for activists and influencers to speak against powerful individuals and institutions. And it seems as though maybe there's an extreme that comes to it, but I would love you to open up that extreme for us. So, and also, could this arrest set a precedent for silencing digital influencers or activists who speak against powerful individuals and institutions?
No, the truth is that I'm not sure, and it's not going to stop. Because the truth is that, first of all, remember that by our laws, we have freedom of expression, which is provided by the Constitution also. It is your right to express yourself anyhow or at any time. Yes, like I said before, there are curtailments. Secondly, remember, we also have what we have the cyber crime, that made some things you do on the cyber space a criminal offense. For example, releasing videos of somebody without its authorities, speaking against somebody without his consent, recording of videos without the person's consent, and all the rest. But when it comes to investigation, that's what we call investigative journalism. Also, remember that the journalists also have their own rights, to investigate matters and also put in the public domain. Secondly, again, we have what we call the Freedom of Information Act that is operational in Nigeria also. But the truth is that it's not going to make anything stop. The truth is that the high and mighty in the country has always been afraid of the social media. If you remember, the last dispensation that came before this administration, they tried to bring up what they call, I think they call it hate speech. They call it hate speech, trying to silence people from airing their view and all the rest. And it did not work. Even when this administration came up, something like that also came up and all. So it's not going to stop anything. Rather, it's going to, modify the whole thing and make people know and be aware of what is happening in the society. So for me, I don't think any arrest of anybody going to social media is going to quell anything for any reason for now. So rather, it's making ways for people to be more learned, for people to know what is happening in their environment, in society, and that is democracy for you.
Thank you so much. I would want us to expatiate on this particular question a bit, right? Now, I hear you. I mean, let's start with activism. I mean, it's supposed to be that that process where people are coming to tell us what we need to hear, right? People that, I mean, they come and tell us, because the truth is, when you talk about investigative journalism, the truth is most of these people, at the end of the day, they actually bring up propagandas, let's not lie. Do you understand? When we are supposed to hear the real things, they won't come out to tell us that. They'll tell us the one that they want us to hear. Do you understand? The fabricated lies put together, that's what they come on social media to tell us. So that's why we have the likes of whistleblowers, to come and tell us what exactly is happening behind our backs, the money that is going out without us knowing. Do you understand? So, but again, in as much as this person is coming out to come and give us what we need to know as Nigerians, this person needs to also be legally backed, right? So what exactly, how do we create that balance? Because the truth is, if somebody comes on social media today and state out certain things that are actually truth, and the person brings out evidence, you will not see certain, authorities say, no, you're not supposed to be with this kind of evidence and all. I mean, that's why certain persons like the likes of Kidum have been arrested, right? So how do we find a balance? How do activists find a balance? They will come out and tell us what we need to hear. But at the end of the day, they will either be, be given defamation, threat or whatever, or at the end of the day, they'll probably be arrested and told that, oh, they are not supposed to be with certain documents or certain evidence. So I want us to be able to create that balance.
But I've said it earlier, and first of all, remember, by the 1999 Constitution as amended, which is the ground norm of the Nigerian and whatever that is protecting us, make provision for a freedom of expression. So there's nothing you can do about it. Individuals, the public citizens must go about expressing their views freely, whether about the government or about whatever. That is one. Secondly, I thought about the Freedom of Information Act that is also operational today in Nigeria. So there's nothing you can do about it, whether it's government or not. And let me tell you, no matter how that information is gotten, no matter how it is gotten, provided you source for the information, it doesn't really matter. Secondly, remember, in the Western world, there are private investigators. You remember? There are private investigators. It's only in this side that we don't have something. And why are we afraid? Because we are afraid of, what I call lack of sincerity of purpose. Just like you rightly say, the government will only tell Nigerians what they want them to hear, and not actually what is operational or what is happening, and which is wrong. So if you feel somebody has done something wrong, or somebody has imputed on your character, or demean your integrity, file a civil suit against that person, and let the person come and defend himself in court. And like I said, in defamation of character, truth is a defense. Provided the person can say, what I said is the truth. You bring up evidence to show that it's the truth. I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I get you, Barrister Justice, but I think that we still need to draw some balance at this point, or maybe there should be some sort of wisdom that these activists are now, using, because it seems as though even though the law states that there's freedom of speech and everything. We have seen a lot of arrests over time for these activists who come out to be very expressive about certain injustices that they see in the community. And it's almost as though no matter how you bring forth your, stronghold or your opinions, you will still be arrested. So I really want you to open up how activists, upcoming activists now in this case, how can they create a balance so that they don't fall prey into the authorities' hands when it comes to arrest? Let's imagine that, the law is not even going to be put in. Please go ahead, sir.
Don't bother. That is why they are called activists. And that is why we are called activists. And one of them, I'm a human rights activist. And I know how many times I have been harassed. Even I know how many times I have had assassination attempts in this country. But it's not going to stop anything. Because the more you do, others are springing up. And you cannot stop it. There are no two ways about it. Just like I said, it's all over the world. It's everywhere. And what is causing all these things? The insincerity of the government. Now, when you see, remember that it is always the government and the people. The government and the people. Why should it be so? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. So it will continue. Even if you kill all the activists today, other ones will also spring up. You cannot close people's mind. Let me tell you one thing. You cannot beat a child and expect that child not to talk, not to cry. It's not possible. We also have this slogan, even in Lagos State, that see something, say something. And not only say something, also do something. So for me, it's neither here nor there. But just like we said, the government has also created a balance. And that is why we have the Cybercrime Act. That is also why I told you that no right is absolute. In as much as they are expressing their right of expression and freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and all the rest, but it's still not absolute. There are still curtailments and all the rest. Freedom of assembly, freedom of protest, and all the rest. But you see people today, when they're assembling somewhere or when they are protesting, police will go and start tear-gassing them and all the rest. It's not only in Nigeria. It happens all over the world. But it will not make it to stop.
All right, so now let's profess solution. Let's take away this modern-day activism that we have, where we see people come on social media to drag people, to call out people, as they say. Do you think there are other means that citizens or other ways citizens can start, using to hold public figures accountable? I want you to prefer solutions for us.
Well, the work or the duty of the social media so far is that it has gone a long way in exposing certain things that people do not know. Even if the government should be sincere to themselves, they should know that social media has even gone to an extent exposing some rocks in some government agencies which they do not know. For example, today you see the IGP ordering the arrest of some police officers because of social media, what was posted in social media that is true. And all if not for such things, the IGP will not know that such incident happened. How will a commissioner of the police know that police officers outside there are conducting themselves in an unruly manner and all the rest? So it also has its own positive impact. Yes, it also has a negative impact. But the truth is this, we have to look for a way to strike a balance. And let me tell you, the truth is that the balance is if people trust the government. That is the problem we have here. There is a disconnect from the people, between the people and the government. There is a disconnect between the people and the security agents. And that is why you see all these things springing up. If the people trust the government, if the people trust the security agents like the police, ESs, and others, you won't be seeing some of these things. But that is the truth. So what am I trying to say? The implication in there is this. We must all understand and tell ourselves the truth that we are all Nigerians. And we are working for better Nigeria. Be you a police officer, be you the IGP, be you the EFCC chairman or whatever, you are first of all a Nigerian. And whatever happens in this country today must affect you tomorrow. You cannot be an IGP forever. You cannot be the the chairman of EFCC forever. You cannot be a police officer forever. One day you will still leave that office to come and join the common Nigerian, like they used to say, common civilian, bloody civilian. Being a military man, you cannot be a military man forever. So if you do your own duty, wherever office you are helping the country, and you're also helping yourself. You're helping your children. You're helping your unborn generation. Whether we like it or not, we are all involved here. Ojukwu table because I'm involved. So directly or indirectly, we are all involved. So we must tell ourselves the truth at this point in time. Let nobody be used as a tool to serve as a vindictive or forever. Let nobody be used as a tool to deal with somebody because they feel that the person is saying the truth. I think when somebody does the good one or is doing the good one, applaud that person. When the government is doing right, we should also applaud them. There should be a balance. Remember that the Constitution simplicity provides that the main aim of government is for the welfare and security of the people.
Thank you so much, Barrister. I'd like to read a few comments that we have on our page before I allow God's Beauty ask her question. We have Ricardo Care here saying that Nigeria has become a place where speaking the truth is a crime and silence is survival. He also mentioned that VDM's arrest seems to be about a government scared of accountability. And if this system was truly strong, it wouldn't fear voices, but voices can't be jailed forever. Amazing comments. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Right, God's Beauty.
All right. Thank you so much for that comment. So I want Barrister Justice to school us or educate us on how a lawful arrest should actually be, right? Because I remember reading a comment yesterday and someone said that when VDM comes out, it should arrest even down to the GT Bank for keeping him there for a few minutes in order for the EFCC to arrest him. So there's a lot to that. I want us to, talk a bit about what arrest should actually be like, what the police officers should be with. Same goes to the EFCC as well. I like how you tell us a bit about, the fact that police officers are always interpreting, forgetting that it is not their job, right? It's the job of the judiciary to actually do the interpretation. They should just stick to ensuring that the laws are carried out by them, ensuring that they are in, the movement and all. So I want us to just be in the know on what exactly arrest procedures should be like here in Nigeria.
Well, there are two forms of arrest. You can arrest somebody at the commissioning of the offense while the person is committing the crime.
Yeah.
You can arrest somebody when you, like I said, the police are provide when the officer reasonably suspects that the word there on code is reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion. When you have reasonably suspect that a person has committed a crime or something like, you can arrest. Also, you can send invitation to somebody to come up for questioning and all the rest. The problem we have here is that we see arrest as a very big thing.
All right, I think we don't have Barrister here again, and I love how he ended the point before, disconnected. Okay, we still have him here. Barrister, are you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me? So,
yes,
what I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is by law, the police has the right to arrest. Even an individual, even as you are there, you have right to arrest somebody whom have committed a crime. But you must hand over that person to the police within 24 hours. So, yeah, so if he goes to the bank and they arrest him and keep him, no problem, it's still within the ambit of the law. But they must hand him over to the police. And also the police must do their investigation and release him within 24 hours. He's not supposed to stay in the police custody more than 24 hours, except on special circumstances. You see, arresting somebody and allowing that person to go does not mean you have concluded the investigation. Your investigation continues. That is one thing that people don't understand. That is one thing police always use arrest, and detention to intimidate people. Detention is neither here nor there. Detain that person. Yes, it is your lawful duty to detain somebody, but the law also provides what we even call judge's rule in law. That judge's rule says and interprets that the way you should handle suspects. Because once somebody is arrested, he's a suspect. He has not committed a crime. Even if you caught anything incriminating with that person, he's still a suspect. That is why the constitution said, once somebody has been even charged to court, that person is presumption of innocence. That person is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty by court of competent jurisdiction, and not the police or EFCC. That's the problem we're having here. If you go to the police or EFCC, they already say, hey, you are a criminal. Police has no right to call you a criminal or EFCC. It is only when you have been convicted.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister. You really, highlighted a number of things that has called our attention. Okay, we have another message here from, I think from Osas replying Ricardio's comment. He said, so true. If they were efficient and concerned government, people speaking truth to power wouldn't be an issue at all. Very interesting. We want to wrap up this conversation. We have less than 2 minutes, and we've seen a lot of loopholes in our laws and reforms. The Cyberbullying Act or Crime Act and everything should have, given us a lead way in how to handle digital expressions properly. But it seems as though we still have loopholes and all of that. So in your legal opinion, should there be reform in how Nigeria handles digital expression? I'm asking this as, another means for you to prefer solution, because we have a number of viewers listening to this, and let them know what is obtainable. So how should, what are the reforms to help us handle digital expression more, online disputes, but whether it's through civil mediation or criminal arrest?
When you talk about reform comes as a result of advancement of the people. Let me give you this quote by one of our legal jurists, Professor Risu. Professor Risu said that the law is to harmonize with the society. The meaning of that is that as the law grows, the society grows along with the society. As the society grows, the law grows along with the society. Yeah. So the implication of that is that there should be reforms every time. As the people progress, as things unfold in the society, reform should also be implemented in order to suit the day-to-day runnings of the activities in the country. There's no two ways about no law. No law is perfect. And that is why there is room for amendments and reform. No law is perfect. Even in the Western world, no law is perfect. So I suggest that we should always leverage on that to always amend our laws as things unfold, as people are progressing, our population is going up, as the global change is coming. Laws should also be changing alongside with the thing. We shouldn't be relying or staying in the archaic world. There are some places you go today, some states that are still using criminal code of 1970 something up to today. So what are we saying?
For lending your voice to this conversation. An amazing, 50 minutes so far. And thank you to God's Beauty as well for her beautiful questions. And to our viewers for always commenting and being part of what we do here. Ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, where you can interact with us further. This is where we wrap up today's segment. Until tomorrow again, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I remain Oluchi Precious Omenka. Bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?